Hi everyone, and welcome to lesson 3 of the Moon Momma session. Your assignment this week is to have a full moon ritual, okay? And we're going to talk about how to do that and what you need in order to do that. Why do a full moon ritual? Because we want to harness and invoke and use the power of the full moon energy to help support and get what we want. What are our goals, our intentions, our wishes? And we need all the good juju to help us with that. And if we can work in conjunction and in synthesis with the moon's energies, it makes it that much more powerful, that much more purposeful, and really supports us in our process. The process is both discovery and intention, just so you know. So simply because you put your finger on it doesn't always mean that's exactly what the universe has in store for you, but you've got to start somewhere and begin somewhere. So this is lesson 3. We don't just ditch our assignment from lesson 1 or 2. We're layering in as we go. So stay connected to the journaling work that we began in lesson 1. Your first assignment was to really decide, what do I want? And if you're still working on that, because that's not an easy task, that's not a super simple answer all of the time, keep journaling. If it's 5 minutes a day, if it's 15 or 20 that you can give it, if it's like 5 minutes in a week, give it that sit down time of putting pen to paper and seeing what comes out. Knowing what you want and naming it at the new moon is so powerful and important, okay? So if you're still trying to figure out, what do I want? Keep working on that. Your assignment from lesson 2 was to work out, and not just any workout, but to work out with me over at unicornwellness.studio, because a workout over there is not just about your basic fitness. It covers that for you. But even beyond that, and more importantly, it invokes and balances and expands your personal frequency. So we're all about frequency and energy over here, and putting all intention towards making things better, having things come to fruition, working towards your highest and greatest good. And we do that at all levels. So lesson 2 is all about the movement in order to brew the most magical frequency and energy. So grab your journal, grab some note-taking materials, and here we go to your full moon ritual lesson, lesson 3, all right? If you missed lesson 1 and 2 of the Moon Momma session, here on this channel, you will find them, and you can go back and begin at any time, and you really could interchange depending on where you're at in the month. You can go back and catch up or start and begin anytime, okay? So you've got note-taking materials and your journal if you started with me in lesson 1. What is the full moon all about? So the full moon is the time of the month when the moon, these are my favorite demonstrations, and sun are in direct opposition to each other. So the moon is getting the full blast and full energy of the sun's reflection. It reflects off of the moon. So we see this giant, huge moon, right? Full luna. And it's a beautiful time because it means balance, right? They're in opposition, but they're holding down their own on either side. So this is a full balance of lunar energy, which is feminine energy, and solar energy, which is masculine energy. So it is perfect balance. It is also in direct opposition, right? They're having a standoff from each other. So this creates constructive tension, okay? So this time, it happens every month, right? Is the time where you stop and first go, where is the energy? Where is the universe highlighting things? Where is it throwing a spotlight on things for me? Okay, so there's really 2 sides of a full moon. What we know typically as a full moon ritual, and it's time for forgiveness and release and letting go, and it is. But before you can get to release, let go, and forgiveness, you have to go, what have I brought to culmination? What have I made? What cycles have finished themselves? What have I brought into manifestation? Because this is where all of the energy is. So as much as my monthly magazine, and we talk so much about new moons, and we started this session with the new moon ritual, I'm a big fan of the full moon. Now they get equal weight energetically, right? But being that I got a lot of fire in my chart, I get really excited when there's a lot of energy brought towards something. So that full moon stage is really, it gives us extra energy as a body. On unicornwellness.studio, in your workouts the week of the full moon, every month of your membership, you're going to see movement patterns that ask more of us at this time of the month than any other time, because the universe is giving us a blast of energy to work with at this time. So during a full moon, it's big energy. It's time to be seen. It's time to socialize. It's time to network, and it's time to go out. All right. And so you want to first look at, where's the energy going in my life? Like, what's being highlighted? I may want this thing over here to happen, but ain't nobody paying any attention to it. Where is the energy? Where is divine spirit guiding you? Or where have your efforts and intention taken things up a level? So things don't always have to be finished in this time, but you do want to see like what has grown, what has expanded, and what has energy on it. Okay, so that's the first step of full moon energy, is going, where is their energy? Because again, we may want something, but the universe is going to throw light and energy on something else. So sometimes they've got, the landing things, and they're pointing this way. Meanwhile, you're working over here, and it's like, no, go that direction. This is what's being supported by spirit. This is what's being supported by the moon frequencies. Go that way. So part of, working with the moon cycles is, yes, putting forth our own intentions and being constructive of the timing of that so that it's best supported by the universe. But it's also about looking at, where's the universe guiding me that I may not have realized I need to go, or is really truly where I need to be going, and I just didn't know it. I didn't see it. Okay. So in this full moon, it's powerful, it's illuminating. It's another key marker during the month of having downloads, having ahas, having messages and clarity come through from the universe. New moon energy is the time of restoration and repair and things to be softer and quieter. Full moon is the time to go and do and to be, but you still may get these messages. I find that in full moon energy with my clients, with the unicorns, and myself, that full moon energy tends to be messaging through other people, right? Whereas new moon energy, because it's so internal and so soft, does typically come from within. But it's different for everyone. So there's not a hard and a fast rule for any of it. Just be on the lookout that during the new and the full moon, this is a prime time to be asking clear questions and meditation of the universe or in card readings, so that you can get better answers, because this is when the frequencies are best for getting them across. All right. So we know what it's all about, right? And so during the full moon, the first step of your full moon ritual, get your pen out here, is to really ask yourself in journaling, what have I brought to fruition? What have I made? What have I helped create? What have I expanded? Okay. And then the tag or the separate question to that in your journals is, where is the universe putting energy? Even if it's a mess of energy, if it's like problem solving over and over and over again, that's still where energy's being pushed and directed. So if you're being pushed and directed to solve something, you still need to pay attention to that, right? If there are things that are like I really love launching things on the full moon. If you want things to have attention, this is the time, right? New moons are planting seeds of intention, but the full moon is like, they may have come to culmination, but you can get a lot of attention in that energy also, because people are up and out, right? Okay, so your full moon ritual bit is this first question of, what have I brought to fruition? What have I created? What have I started? What have I finished? What has grown? And then in that, kind of the sub piece is, where is the universe shedding light and energy and directing me to? Even if it's not positive, what's sucking up all the light in the room, right? Like, what's getting this blast of, you just can't ignore this anymore. You have to look at this, okay? The follow-up in this journaling prompt is, very next bit, and this is usually what gets highlighted within full moon rituals, is what is it that no longer serves my highest and greatest good? What can I release? Okay. And this is the most functional and practical, right? Because in the laws of the universe, right, in manifestation, and law of attraction, you really can't manifest, attract, one, until your frequency matches what you're wanting, and two, until something has been cleared away. Okay, because the universe hates a vacuum, right? Energy is neither created nor destroyed, and you can't stuff all the same atoms and energy into one space. So you have to clear and release something in order to allow something new and better to come into play. Okay, so this second journaling prompt is, what can I release? What no longer serves my highest and greatest good? And this looks like a lot of things, okay? This is really like the practical piece. It may be a schedule that you've got in play that just doesn't work for what you're trying to manifest and what you're trying to do and what you're trying to create. You may need some help. You may need to get up earlier. You may need to stay up later in order to get things done, right? So there's a practical component of what needs to be released. It doesn't always have to be heavy. It doesn't always have to be super intense internal work, but it does have to be thoughtful. What's really weighing me down? What no longer is supporting me and moving in a constructive direction, okay? That could be relationships. That could be jobs and situations. It could be places, right? So, and it could just be habits. So these are things that you need to sift through and take the time in journaling to go, what is no longer serving my highest and greatest good, right? And so again, allow that to be simple and really not a big deal. Like, hey, I'm drinking too much coffee. Or, man, this habit's getting old from myself. I'm complaining. I am totally focused on the empty cups. Meanwhile, I got gorgeous new, brand new cups that are twice the size of the old ones that were spilled, right? 5 of Cups card, like that your attention keeps ending up in the wrong place, in the negative rather than the positive. So yes, sometimes that question is heavy and it's relationships that need to go and you need to have those conversations and take those steps forward. But sometimes it's really small. And I find that when you get into doing these moon rituals, consistency, every month, new, full, it's not always going to be big steps. It's not always epic. And so I find that the more often that we practice this work, the smaller that the releases get. Now, don't totally quote me on that, right? But you hear what I'm saying. Like, the more often you're doing the work, it's like cleaning out your closet. If you do an epic overhaul and really work on a capsule wardrobe, right? Then in the next couple of months, you may just need to straighten the hangers and rehang some things, or maybe there's some things that should have been sent to the dry cleaners and ironed, and you just need to neaten up, right? You don't always have to throw everything out. You don't always need all new hangers. And you don't always need to fill in the wardrobe, right? So just understand that these journaling prompts you will go back to every month at the full moon. And sometimes they're gonna be big and sometimes they're really not so big. And potentially, maybe every once in a while you go, I actually don't feel like I need to ditch anything right now. I've been doing the work, I'm really on track. Like, hello, take the win. Because things will turn back around and you'll be having to do some work soon enough because the work is never done. So this is the very beginning, right, of our full moon ritual, is to spend time in journaling with these particular prompts and questions, all right? Why do we connect to the full moon? Connection to the full moon has everything to do with our primal bodies. Okay, so as much as we have advanced as a culture, as a civilization, and our technology is magical, that we can all be together at any time, anywhere in the world, if we've got a Wi-Fi connection, our bodies, our systems, and believe it or not, our souls are still very tribal and completely primal. Okay, so we use all of these advanced technologies, right, to connect, and we try to take the best out of everything and use them for the positive, but we cannot forget our connection to the actual earth and soil and stars and celestial bodies. And our personal system craves that connection. So by attuning to the moon cycles, in particular, and very simply the new and the full moon, and taking the time to go, oh, it's a full moon, and maybe step outside and go, oh, I see her. She's gorgeous. She's giant. So amazing. This is the time each month that we stop and we go, we individually are very small in the scheme of things, and it's important. We're important, but it's important to remember that there are things much larger, much grander than ourselves, and our cellular body, our cellular memories, our tangible bodies need that primal connection to soil, to water, to the heavens, and this is the perfect time to do it. When we get connected to the lunar cycles, it offers us this unbelievable space to create balance in our modern lives, still keep all the good modernity about things, right? But it also allows us, once we've created balance between our magical technologies and our primal being, to brew magic in our lives. And again, understand that we're in co-creatorship here with our soul, with our destiny, fate, and free will, with divine spirit, that we didn't get plunked here to be punished. And when we connect our humanity with our divinity, the functional 3D realm, with these energies and frequencies, life really does expand and become magical. And we are here to enjoy it. We are also here to learn lessons, to create, to help, and to solve. So connecting with these full moon rituals brings so much balance to our primal physical bodies that we don't realize we need or that we're missing until we start really connecting to them. Okay? So here we go. The full moon ritual, right? So we've started with our journaling prompts. That's not particularly the ritual, that's the preparation for the ritual. Then I'm going to take you through the crystals, right? So what are the healing crystals that I prefer, that I think are best to magnify the work of your full moon ritual? I want to say first, I don't think I said this in lesson 1, you don't ever have to buy anything in order to have a new or a full moon ritual. I offer up the crystals because I love them. I'm a Taurus sun, I've got that good earthiness, and I love the elements of earth. I love the frequency work, and anything that amplifies that frequency, I want it, let's add it, right? But do not feel like you have to go buy something in order to have a ritual. That's so not the point. If you have your soul and you have heartfelt intentions and you're thinking and praying about these things and in meditation, you got yourself a full moon ritual at the full moon, okay? A lot of you watching already have these crystals, and so you just kind of gather them around. So for your official full moon ritual, you're going to gather up these crystals if you want them, if you have them. They are not a necessity, okay? And so when you gather them up, you're going to set them around your writing space, right? Here we go. Here are the ones that I recommend that you have near you as you're going through these journaling prompts. Your full moon ritual should happen, you got a big span of time for this, 3 to 4 days prior to the full moon. You can do it on the full moon, or 3 or 4 days after, okay? I always say I'm a bad witch. Like I'm the worst. My energy is so full at this time that sometimes I find it exhausting. Or I feel like the universe is so loud that I need extra rest in that period of time, that I don't always do my ritual on the full moon. So don't feel like you have to get it exactly perfect. This applies to your new moon ritual as well. That energy, it lasts for 2 weeks, right? But it's most intense about 3 days before and 3 days after the actual lunation. So you are allowed to watch this, to gather up your things, and to do your ritual anywhere in that time period, okay? So let's start with the crystals that you may want around you as you are doing your journaling for the full moon. Some of these, if you did lesson 1, will be familiar. So we have 3 repeat crystals, okay? And you're gonna go, oh, of course they are, okay? So repeat crystal number 1 is your selenite. Okay, so selenite is this beautiful piece. I love the sounds. Can you hear? Okay, it actually, you know, in Greek, I think it literally means moon, right? Lesson 1, I got it correct. I didn't write it down this time. But it integrates the physical and the light body. All right, so it's just a soft integration of energies into this physical body. It has so much to do with your intuition, which lunar energy is feminine energy. It's all about receiving and intuition and your psychic capacities, right? And your ability to receive and understand and sift and sort all of the messages from the divine cosmos. So selenite is my number 1 pick here. We used it also in the new moon. Okay, then of course, moonstone, right? And it's just a little bitty bit of moonstone. You don't have to have a ton, and they're actually sort of difficult to find in larger pieces. Moonstone is just, again, it's called moonstone. It attunes to the frequency of the moon. It is said to really invoke your dream space and your intuition, right? Again, messaging in this time of the moon. So in the evenings, you could sleep with one under your pillow, see if that adds a little juice to things. Working with it during the moon cycles is said to actually really help harness and channel towards your intention and what you really want. So this is a recommendation for both the full and new moon, okay? All right. Then I just realized I don't have it sitting here. How is that even possible? Rose quartz, okay? So I don't have it here with me today, which is a bummer, but you can go back to lesson 1 and see it there. Rose quartz, I just think we all ought to be carrying it and wearing it every day, every day. Rose quartz carries the energy of love. It's pink, it's light pink, it's soft. I used to find rose quartz to be like, it's too soft, I don't want to work with that, right? But rose and love, right? Love is the healing frequency. It is the light. So the ultimate healer is the frequency of love. So rose quartz helps amplify and harness that. And quite frankly, we all need more of it. The world needs more of it. And by carrying and working with rose quartz, in particular over your heart, it expands our empathy. It protects us energetically. I don't think it's talked about enough as a protectorate. The more you can open and expand your heart chakra, the more light you lend to the world, right? The more positive change you're capable of affecting and infecting, so to speak. And so it really works as a protectorate also. So rose quartz, it's light pink. You can get tiny little bits of it, little tumbled stones or larger chunks that are rough. You know, it doesn't matter, whatever calls to you. I just think rose quartz ought to be everywhere and on us every day. So of course it's included in both the new and the full moon rituals, okay? Then here are the 2 specific to the full moon ritual. First one, here we go. So this is what, I don't know why I'm hesitating on it, because I want to really, like, they're ones that you will see a lot, okay? Here we go. So smoky quartz, right? All right. Smoky quartz, I didn't used to work with. And I would have people who are like, but it's the healer stone, why don't you work with it? And I'd be like, because it doesn't call to me, so I don't do what everybody else is doing. And then it came a time when it started to call to me. So smoky quartz, right, it's dark. Typically any crystals that are dark in nature are protective, all right? And they negate negative energies, they deflect. Smoky quartz is a fascinating healer, okay? So here's what I have found with my tribe, with the unicorns and my clients and myself. It is a powerful stone, but it's much different in my experience of it. Smoky quartz is the one you really want to start wearing when you feel like you have things to release, but you don't know what they are. Okay, so similar to the new moon journaling and prompting where you go, I don't know what I want. you get to the full moon and you go, I don't know what needs to be released. I'm not sure what the biggest thing right now dragging me down is. Or I have a wound that needs healing, but I don't know what it is. Smoky quartz is the one to wear, okay? And it works like this in my experience. It purges, it pulls the toxic energy up and out. Whatever needs to be healed and whatever needs to be worked with, it'll pull it out. But it's a 3-month wear. I'm telling you, it's not for the faint of heart, okay? It's gorgeous. It will induce joy. It will leave you with joy. If you are going through a period of time of detox and cleansing from anything, from a food, from a habit, from anything, this is the one to wear. It's very powerful. But if you're not in a stable enough place to go, I don't need to be dredging things up right now, I got enough to deal with, don't use it, okay? Because when it comes to habits, like if your habit is anger and there's residual anger, it really almost is like, it's almost like throwing up. Like it brings those energies up and out, and they're gonna be in your face and they're gonna be disrupting things on their way out. It's good because the healing absolutely happens and occurs, but it's definitely more work, requires a little bit more attention. But I love working with smoky quartz because it really is a release. Once it comes up, you can look at it and go, I forgive myself for being so angry. There were things that happened that really triggered that, and that's the best I could do to work with it at that point, right? And it allows for real, genuine healing and release, but it's not an easy stone, okay? So if you feel it calling to you, definitely work with it, but please get something that you can wear, like a little pendant on your heart, or if it's a small stone that you can really stick in your pocket or stick it in your bra for 3 months. Be willing to work with it for the long haul, then start to take notice of where the highlights are. Like what keeps recurring? What kind of energies am I using? What are the recurring themes in my life now that I've brought this crystal in? So it's excellent for release. It is excellent for showing you what's really going on. If you don't know what needs to be released, it'll bring it into your sphere, don't you worry, okay? And then the last one for our full moon ritual is black tourmaline. So I have this big old chunky black tourmaline, okay? It's also known as schorl, S-C-H-O-R-L. I'm gonna say it the right way. This is a cool one too. Okay, on its basics, it's a great one to have in front of your computer, right? Or in front of your, your Wi-Fi connection. It's great for sucking up EMFs so you don't get all of that static frequency. But it's like the witch's stone. This is really the most protective and the most healing. Fascinating piece about it is it will suck in negative energy. So it's a great thing to be wearing as a healer, right? It will transmute and alchemize into constructive energy. So it will take negative and turn it into the positive. So they are powerful pieces to have around. Again, in the full moon, we're kind of working, it's weird because it's all this energy and blast, but you want to work the release. So when you're working release, you're really digging from your shadow side, right? You're going to the dark stuff because what needs to come up and out, what's holding me back. And so you need to be protected in that space. You need to set parameters of like, I'm gonna pull all this stuff out and then I'm gonna transmute it, right? And so again, highly protective. Any dark stones, I mean, I know some of you all are gonna love black onyx and that's great too. Like work with what you like and what calls to you. I'm a very bad witch, right? There are no rules. Whatever speaks to you, what works best for you, go with that. These are my recommendations. This is what I see works with clients and our unicorn members for years now, but that doesn't mean that's a have to by any stretch of the means, okay? So during your full moon ritual, 3 or 4 days before or after, right on the full moon, you're gonna gather up your crystals, okay? These, and you're gonna have them around while you work your journaling prompts 1 and 2. What has been brought to fruition? Where is the universe shedding light? I mean, there's really 3 questions here. And then the last one is what no longer serves my highest and greatest purpose? What needs to be released, okay? So then this is the ritual portion that I love, okay? Now please do this in a fire safe place. Don't get weird, okay? So if you've got a fireplace that you can actually use, you're gonna do this there. I have a little bowl that I have this tiny little bowl. It's a metal bowl, right? It travels with me, which is why I have a little one. So it's a little cauldron, okay? But you may have an actual cauldron, or you may just do it in a pot in the kitchen. I always set this on my stove because it's a fire safe place. Okay, and so you're gonna take, after you've journaled, you're gonna take the time and finally get to what needs to be released, okay? And it can be one sentence, man, maybe it's 3 pages, I don't know. But you get to what needs to be released for my highest and greatest good. You write it down, you crumple it up, you're gonna put it in a fire-safe space, and then you're gonna light it on fire. I'm gonna do this because hopefully it's really pretty. And yes, I wrote what I'm really releasing with this full moon, okay? I'm gonna do it again, don't you worry. But you will burn it in there and you just let it sit, okay? So if you have a bigger bowl that you wanna do it in, it's gonna be smoke in my face now, okay? But you burn it up. Why? Because ashes to ashes. You physically write it down, you make a connection to it, you're cognitively experiencing it, you are emotionally getting to the place of what do I really need to release, okay? And then using, you know, the elements here, you want to burn it up because energetically you want to send it off into the ethers. Divine Spirit, the frequency of the moon can handle it much better than we can. And so we're going to work all spaces of it. Where's my responsibility and what needs to be released here? But I am also giving it up to God. I'm giving it up to the goddesses, your higher self, however you want to communicate that, whatever you want to call that, whatever words are best for you, that's what you're going to do with it. Now, once it's fully burned and you have the ashes there, you have some choices here. You can flush it down the toilet because then you have the water element of flushing and sweeping and releasing away. Some people don't love the connotation of that, and I get it, okay? You can also take a mason jar and put them in a jar and then drown them in water, right? Set them out in the moonlight. If you've got a porch or a backyard, in order to do that, let it suck up the juice of the moon, and then carefully have a place that you pour it out afterwards. Some people have like a spot in their yard that they work with every month, and others will still go throw it down the potty. So this is, again, up to you. But this burning and release, watch out, because my unicorns, the things you release, you can get some real responses and solutions and some major release that way. It is my favorite. I find it to be the most powerful, but fire to me is magic, right? And so when you're working with fire, you're really invoking the ethers and getting real serious about whatever's on that piece of paper, okay? So, fourth step in your full moon ritual in this assignment, I would love for you to post pictures of your ritual. You don't have to. I just like to see all the ways in which we practice because there is no right way to do these. There are some rails to run in, but it's so beautiful to see you all practicing and connecting that if you feel inspired to snap a photo of your ritual space or the ritual as you're doing it, post them on Instagram, post them in the private Facebook group, tag me. I want to see them. I love what you all are doing and I want to be a part of it, and I like to see the pretty things you all are creating. Okay, so that's your official assignment for your full moon ritual. With your crystals, if you so choose, your journaling prompts, then really honing in on what needs to be released and then burn it up. The option here is to take a photo and share it if you wish, okay? So here we go. I'm gonna look at the rest of my notes. What do we have here? I think this is really it. You know, why do we connect? Because we're primal, because we need it. It creates balance. You're hitting all of the areas of all of your senses along with each of the elements, right? This is the one piece I wanted to say. Full moon ritual time is the time to recharge any and all crystals you have. So this is a side note. This is part of full moon ritual. You're not being assigned to do this, but you should. Okay, So at the full moon, again, in this window of these 3 or 4 days post or prior, you're going to gather up every healing crystal you have in your house. You're going to put them somewhere where you've got something to smudge with to cleanse and clear the air. Palo Santo is really my smudge of choice these days. There are looking to be some issues with sourcing sage, and so maybe not as a consumer, right? But Palo Santo still seems to be pretty okay and environmentally safe to be using. So on the full moon, you gather up all of your crystals. If you're new to this, you get something to smudge with and cleanse with. You give them a good little smudgy of the smoke, all of your crystals. You can say a little prayer in your head or out loud. Please release any and all negative energies that may have attached themselves to these crystals, either knowingly or unknowingly, in their path to helping me create balance in my life in the last month. Please restore them to their original frequency as Mother Nature intended them to be. Okay? You can add anything else to that you want, and that's also in the Unicorn Wellness Handbook if you don't want to scribble so fast. It's there, okay? So this is the time of cleansing. Once you have cleansed them, if it's not gonna rain and you're in a space you can put them outside, you put them outside to soak up the full moon energy and all of that illumination to cleanse them, and then bring them back in within 24 hours, okay? So below in your description section here under the video on YouTube, there's all kinds of resources to help you balance and create a magical life. So you can find me in all the places and spaces, and all of the links are below. I would love to have you answer this one question here for lesson 3 below in the comment section. What are you willing to release with this full moon for your highest and greatest good? Pretty simple. It's your assignment. This is the full moon ritual question. All right. Please do all of the YouTube things. Subscribe to this channel, click the little bell, then you'll get the alert when the next session lesson comes out automatically. Like and share. This is a great way to help other people find this work if you're really enjoying it and you love it. It helps other people to discover it, the more we can share it. So I really appreciate that. If you want to book a personal reading with me, again, below in the description, you can do that. There's a link to tandygutierrez.com. And if you want to experience 30 days guest membership on my site at unicornwellness.studio, there is a code below in the description section. You will enter it at checkout. It will zero out your cart. It is genuinely a free membership. You will need to cancel it if you don't want to continue it. It's 2 button clicks from your account. It's super easy. And I hope that it's totally your bit of magic and that you'll stay past those free 30 days. On day 31, you are charged for a recurring membership. So there's every way to get a hold of me, us at Unicorn Wellness. We are here to help. Please ask any and all questions below. And again, we're here to help. So let us know. Let me know how your full moon ritual goes. And I will see you in lesson 4.